Hi, friend. Join me today as we start building Botanical Bliss, the botanical journal for a custom order with the greens and the purples and lots of neutrals. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. Hi, it's Carrie from Creative Me Creative, and welcome to my cozy little corner. So Saturday, we made envelopes, and some of those will end up being in this journal. Actually, most of them will probably end up being in this journal. Right now, I am just putting papers together, and so I thought I would turn on the camera while I grab a few note papers that will be added. The owner of this journal wants lots of space for writing, so we are going to do that. And I don't know if you recognize this paper. If you watched the video where I took the spine and expanded it, this is the book block that came out of that. And I'm just gonna see, there we go. I think this journal is gonna have 5 signatures. And so we need 10 of these because I would like 2 of them in each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now, this is all the papers I have gathered so far. I have been tearing the edges on all of them. I'm using a Reader's Digest. And so for me to be able to use scrapbook paper and digitals, I had to resize everything because the papers that fit in this are approximately 10 inches across before you fold them in half and 7¼ inches high. And so I did have to do a little pre-planning on that. I'm using 3 digital kits. I'm using a couple sheets, and I think I will be adding more from Raven Vintage, from Kathy's Lavender Lane kit. I think it's Lavender Lane. I've used this before, and I love this kit. There is so much goodness in it. But these two, well, this one here, it's gorgeous. I love this one as a background. And then the ledger paper and the little bits of lavender, which feeds right into the botanical feel. So those 2 are being used. And I chose that because if you watched on Saturday, this was kind of the scrapbook paper that launched the direction of this journal. And the owner is purple, is her favorite color. And this is, the purple is a surprise for her. She asked me to surprise her with the accent color. And I felt that putting purple into it would just really make it feel like home for her. This is the second journal I have done for her. So her first one was all purple and very little of anything else. It was many shades of purple, and it had more of a, there was tea and wine were kind of the direction of the extras in it, because she is a tea drinker and she likes a glass of wine once in a while. So that was the direction, but this time we're going botanicals. So I'm also using a kit from My Porch Prints. It's a botanical one. I don't remember the names. So there's a few papers that I'm using. Very neutral with the greens and just the botanical flowers. And that one is upside down. Let's flip it. So there's a few of those. And then there's a couple of colored ones. And this one, these are the ones that kind of, they mirror a little bit of what's going on in Kathy's kit with the lavender and then with this one with the pinky, more pinky purple florals. So I thought those really just played really well together. And then the third kit I'm using is from Silver and Sparkles. And she just released this kit. Now, I'm not using everything from the kit. I'm using the ones that have got the greens because it's a full kit that's got some with more just browns and creams. But every piece that had the greens in it, I have added it. And with the ivy and, you know, just the leaves, a little bit of, you know, brown vintage edging. It's all the papers work really well together. And oh, I think there's another one at the bottom here. There's the last one. And then just a little pop of teal, my signature color. And I don't think that the owner of this is going to mind. So those are the digital kits I'm using. I've got lined paper. And then I have broken down some of the scrapbook papers. These two here are too short. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to leave them short or if I'm going to do Franken pages and attach another piece to wrap to make the full page. So we can work on that together. And then we've got the greens. We've got a neutral. I only had a couple of those. This was actually a full scrapbooking kit. And that's, the colors just work so beautifully together. There's only one of this, so it'll end up in the second, or in the middle signature. And then, of course, the one with the purple background. And there's two of those because I have saved a sheet for ephemera on that one. So those will go in either the first and fifth or the second and fourth signature. And then I have trimmed up some tea dye paper. You can faintly see there in that angle. You can see the pattern because I used a plastic lace tablecloth to create these. And so it just gives a really nice soft detail on the papers. Not all of them are as clear, but it really is pretty. So there is 5 of those. And then this is the one I want to do for the cover. It has the word grow on it. And so I am going to clean the edges up of this one with you. So I use my glass mat to help me line everything up. And so I just have it lined on the edge. I don't want to lose any of that word grow, so I'm only going to rip off 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. I hope you guys are all doing well. Like I mentioned in the last video, I am recording ahead of time. So if you're commenting, I will get to you. I'm going away on vacation, so I am just trying to get some videos filmed before I go. And so I won't be able to acknowledge your commenting, but don't stop commenting because I love hearing from you. I may be able to respond to comments while I'm away, but I won't be able to give you the shout out in the video because, well, I'm now a week ahead of myself. And by the time I go on vacation, I will, I will probably have 4 or 5 more videos done. So I leave on the 23rd of January and I'm not back until February. So, okay, so before I cut the next one, I want this to be the front cover. So this needs to be 10 inches across and 7.5 inches tall. So nope, 7.25. I'm going to have to trim that a bit or I'm going to lose some of this grow. So let's bring this right. Yeah. Unless, no, because then if I fold it, I'm going to lose the G. So let's, this is why we do this together. So I'm going to move that on my mat to 7 1/4. I don't want to lose the G. I don't mind losing the little wing at the end of the W though, because you'll still know it's a W. So I'm lining that up on the bottom line. You can't see it down here. And then I'm just going to line my ruler up 7 1/4 at the top and the bottom and tear. Make sure I'm doing this before I tear. I've only got one of these. Yeah, that's right. And we'll keep that. And then we'll go back over here and see if I can tear off that tiny edge. Yeah, I won't lose that much of the W at the end, which is good. So now I got to go nice and slow because it's just a tiny little. Line it up, Carrie. There we go. Just a sliver of a piece. Okay. And then we will go 10. See my number 10 here. There it is. And top and bottom. And that one we'll keep. And then when we fold that in half, that is going to be the very front of her journal, of the very front signature. So, yeah. So while I was at it, I pulled out a bunch of different, this is my stash of stuff that I pull from for extra sheets. So I've got 2 music books. These, each one belonged to one of my grandfathers. And they are falling apart. This one is, let's see if I can find a date. I'm not sure I can. I know they're old. And that's a Sunday school hymnal. This one is a book of praise, which has both Psalms and actually Mrs. Archie Murdoch. That is not my grandfather at all. My dad told me it was my grandfather's book. That's a great aunt. And this one has both Psalms written out in it as well as songs. Psalms and songs. And yeah, it's just beautiful. So we'll be using some from there. I also have an old dictionary, and it's, oh, look at that. And apparently I have some botanicals drying in the middle of the pages. I may have to make a bookmark or a writing board and use that. I can put it through my laminator and create a bookmark or a writing board for her. That is, what a great find. I didn't know. All right, so I may pull out some pages from here with the word like botanical or fern or something like that. I may only use it just for collaging and decorating. I'm not certain on that. Depends on how many papers I ended up with here. I also have one of these, and I think for sure I need to put at least 2 pages from the Edith Holden book. I also have her her story. The pictures in here, there are some, and I may use some of these as well. I've got sun casting across the desk. It's good to see the sun though. So yeah, so some of those may work their way in. I'm gonna move those off the desk because it's getting crowded now. And then I have 2 more books that I am going to possibly use. This one here is next to, like, it's basically falling apart, but I'm not a big lover of fussy cutting, but it really does have a great dynamic. So I may pick a few of these and fussy cut. There's pretty little florals in here, and nice little botanicals as well. So I may do that, or I may just use a couple of the sheets whole and just tuck them right into the signatures. And then the last book I have is, this is a Reader's Digest book, all on vegetation and florals, and it's basically their garden book. So I think I will be pulling some pages from this one as well for inside the journal. So this one for sure, the music paper for sure, and Edith Holden for sure. The dictionary and this guy are options. So that is where I'm going with that. I'm going to fold these papers first and figure out how many we have. And then last but not least, I have these doilies, which I picked up at the dollar store. And I will probably incorporate a few of these, but I won't leave them white. I will tea stain them and get them a little bit more vintage looking. And yeah, so that is on the agenda to do. But for now, if you want to stick around and fold papers with me, I would love to know whether or not you make a journal in the new year for yourself, or if you're creating one for someone else, and what theme it is. I think I'm going to put that paper on. Yeah. And if you're not making a journal, but you were going to, what colors would you use? I know Mary from I Love to Journal likes the greens and the pinks together. And it's such a pretty combination. And I originally had thought that that's what I was going to do with this one until I found that paper. And yeah, so. All right, I'm gonna keep folding these papers, and you can let me know in the comments what colors you like to do, what theme. And I'll be right back. Okay, I have got all of the signatures together, and I didn't bring you along for the ride. I follow a formula. My formula actually is very similar to Kathy at Raven Vintage. So she just did hers. Like, I just watched it. And, I mean, by the time you see this, it'll be a couple weeks old. But she just did hers, and I will link her video below, because our methods for organizing signatures are almost identical. Not quite, but almost. You know, you sort your papers into piles, one for each signature, and then you just make sure everything's got an even amount. And once you figure out how the first signature is going to line up, then you just follow the same formula, you know, scrapbook paper, digital, tea stain, scrapbook paper, digital, that kind of thing. Anyway, I will link her video below, and you can watch her process, because like I said, it's very similar to mine. And I am just going to move signature 1, 3, and 5 out of the way. The music sheets are too long. I'm going to trim those up after. But signature 2 and 4 have that piece that was too short. And I'm going to create Franken paper. I've got a little bit of this one ready so that we are having the purple in most of the signatures, because that's the accent color. So what we'll do is we'll take our long pieces, and these are now both the same height. we need to make these 10 inches wide. So we'll do one and then we'll do two. And I will use my mat. Just like that. And then we can fold it in half after that. I think I may do it this way. Yeah. This is 5 inches across, so this is going to sit really close to where it's going to be sewn in. And so I hope you can see that. The sun is really bright, and I really don't want to close the blinds because we don't see the sun very often up here in Ontario in the middle of January. So I'm going to let it shine, and hopefully I'll just try and readjust. I'll keep an eye on it and make sure that it's not too glary. So yeah, so this is approximately, it's just a little over 5. But we'll glue it down to make this 10 inches across. And then it will match the papers. So I'm going to get my glue. I did forget to put my pin in it, so hopefully it will work. I think I might use glue stick to begin with. So, and I'm going to grab a pencil and just make a couple marks. So putting that there, I hope you can see that. Using my mat, bringing that to the 10 inches. I'm going to make a mark here and here, and then I will know that that is where the glue needs to go. Okay. And hopefully my Barely Art glue, oh good, it does work. And then right, there's the pencil mark there. So that'll be pretty close. I'm gonna wiggle a line down the middle so I can have a little bit of movement. And then I'm gonna go back and use the mat and line this up. Okay, so let's put that there. It's not quite lined up. There we go. It's a little long on that edge. I wonder if it's a little... No, we're good. I probably should have inked that first. This is a little long. I'll just rough it up. I think I'm gonna trim it and then rough it. There we go. All right, and now we can fold this right in half. Like that. And now we've got our Franken page. That's all it is. So it is just a little bit, I'm gonna put some extra glue here. If it looks like it's gonna cause an issue, I might use a little piece of lace or washi, one of the two. just to keep it in place so it's not gonna pull away. It's not like it's gonna pull away from the actual signature itself once it's sewn in, but you don't want that constantly moving when there's other papers there. It might be okay now though. Let's take a boo. Yeah, I think that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna let that dry before I put it back in the signature. And I will do it with this one. And then that is it for today, I think. I'm going to get this video up and started to edit it, and then I'll decide based on time whether or not there's anything else to do this time around. I will have another video up. You can follow along with the Botanical Bliss journal on Thursdays, and then Saturday we'll have another 6x6 project, stash builder, scrap buster, 6x6 project. I think we are going to probably do paper clips maybe. I haven't decided. I've got paper clips and little notebooks on the agenda. So one of the two will be next Saturday. Actually, no, it'll be this Saturday. I have to remember I'm taping ahead. So it'll be this Saturday, the Saturday after you see this project. And we will work on paper clips or notebooks. I'm going to, it'll be a surprise. We'll see you then. Thanks for being here. Take care. Chat soon.